Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Now, in honor of Independence Day, which is just around the corner, I thought I'd do a battle between the British and the Americans. The United States, once and for all, or rather again, trying to assert their independence from the British Empire. The British have a pretty decent hull, but it's not going to be terribly large, although they did get an upgrade. So I'm going to give the United States some slightly smaller battleships and let the AI create them. Just to see if I can make work the design that they give me. Now this is the North Carolina class. Let's reduce the displacement to, 67,000 tons is okay. And it has been a long time since I auto-designed a ship. I just want to see what the AI throws together and how they do that. So let's have a look. It seems like the AI constantly starts and then stops with a design. Oh, there we go. So they threw together a design and then scrapped it and then built it again and then decided, nope, sorry, that can't work. And then they decided again, or they tried again. This one, interesting build. 6 20-inch guns per ship with a modern tower 3, secondary tower 1, and 1 7-inch gun on the stern. Krupp 4 armor, Barbette 4 armor, heavily armored, but bulkheads lacking. Firing light shells. Light 20-inch shells. Alright. Well, let's make some small adjustments. Because if these things get hold, and they will, then at least I want to have a bit more protection. I want to have a few more bulkheads. So we're going to go with standard bulkheads. And coincidence 3 rangefinder and generation 2 radar. Armor belt looks decent, 15.5, 7.7, 17.7 conning tower, and 19.9 on the turret. That is one properly armored turret. Now the way that the AI threw this design together does make it a bit front heavy, but we can still fix that. We can teach the AIs the magic of balancing the ship out. There we go. So very much forward focused firepower. The secondary, insofar as I have it, just consists of a few 7-inch guns, but, well, we're facing battleships. We probably won't need that too much. Now let's see what the British have thrown together, and let's see if we can remove the redcoats from the US. Let's see what the British came up with. Their design is usually quite interesting. Well, it seems a fairly decent design. It's a modernized Dreadnought with 9 15-inch guns, so more firepower. At least in the sense of the number of guns, but I have 20-inch guns, and they have mere 15. Good grief, that's loud. They have mere 15-inch guns. Now we are moving with the Maine, the Iowa, the Arizona, and the North Carolina, and everybody is firing at the lead British battleship. Let's see. Oh, already damaged the main tower, but there was only one hit. Out of those, I'm assuming 24 shells that were going out to meet the enemy. With a formation, or rather with a setup like this, I think it would be amusing to have a line abreast formation. Because then we'd have 4 American battleships all side by side. I'm going to slow the Maine down to 15 knots to ensure that the other ships have some time to catch up with their formation, or at least with their intended spot in the formation. And, well, we're going to continue to close to about 12, I think, by the time that we get there. This is going to hurt. Yeah, already got flooding. And we're burning. Can we actually return the favor? Lots of pretty lights in the sky. Oh yeah, fire and flooding. And an engine has been knocked out. Looks like that one solidly hit him under the turret, which... well, I think they got pretty lucky there. Could have been a hell of a lot worse. Now the reason that I put up the enhanced bulkheads is exactly for this purpose. If I start flooding, I will very quickly lose just a quarter of my firepower. So I would very much appreciate having these things be alive for just a little while longer, while our 20-inch guns continue to do damage against the British battleships. The British battleships, which don't seem to be doing that well in the compartments. It's looks like they don't have that many bulkheads available. And they are starting to see the consequences of that design choice. Let's see, is the other ship moving up yet? Oh, damage to the secondary tower there. I gotta, of course, prominently feature the American flag here. Huh. As I'm highlighting the ship, I'm noticing that the props that you can sort of see outlined there aren't spinning. I'm wondering if that's because I have ordered the main not to speed up, or if it's just an animation that's not there. Nah, even if I push it to full speed, that is not moving. Oh, that's unfortunate. They got everything else modeled, why not the props? Why not the props? Could have been so nice. Now it does look like this particular battle is going to go to the US, at least for now. Simply by already having devastated one of the British warships. She is still in the fight. Her guns are still all firing, despite her severe list to starboard. I think she shouldn't really be able to depress her guns that much. But okay, here we are. By the way, wasn't that something that the devs were going to work on? That we're actually going to do an overhaul of how much guns could elevate, and as such, how accurate your guns would be if you were listing. It is something that one of the main devs... yeah, I remember him sending an email about that. Oof. Americans definitely claiming their independence against this particular British battleship. Look at that thing. Some serious fires aboard. 2 engines are out. The secondary tower looks to be wrecked. And that's going to cause all sorts of problems with getting that fire and flooding under control. And if she's not careful, she's going to run into her sister ship. Now I'm going to make this a best of 3. I'm going to let my ships slug it out against these ships. And then do another round. If I win that, I already got the best out of 3. If not, we're going to have another round. Oh, do not turn broadside there. You're going to regret that. 9 kilometers out. Interestingly, I still haven't fully identified these ships. They simply go down too quickly. They sink before we can get any kind of reasonable identification on them. But judging by the displacement and the Dreadnought hull, I think we're looking at something in the range of 55,000 tons displacement. Few bulkheads. And yeah, not that much armor. Although with 20-inch shells being fired at you, even light 20-inch shells, it's going to be really rough. Oh, look at this. All ships in line. American Battleship Division pushing forward, not taking any prisoners. And claiming their independence from the Queen Elizabeth. 37,000 tons. Oh, I was off by about 20,000 tons there. In that case, it's no surprise that the Americans with their 67,000 ton battleships are going to win this. We get the Queen Elizabeth, the Canada, and the Prince George. These ships, 27 knots, 12 inches of belt armor. Oof. They cost 81 million to build. Mine cost 138 million, so substantially more. And it seems like the Brits are not that capable of doing damage against the American warships. 25% chance to pen, but in reverse, yeah, 73.6. That's the Queen Elizabeth down. Every ship, focus fire on Canada. Canada immediately takes a ton of damage. Her whole bow is on fire. She's lucky that she's not popping turrets yet, because she could very quickly have that happen. But with my ship's bow in, there is not that much that the Canada can do, because I have a pretty healthy bow armor, belt extended, and it's angled. So the Canada is immediately getting reduced to scrap, especially as she's trying to turn, well, away from the American battleships, she's just not... she's just not able to do that. Prince George sinks due to extensive fire. Round 1 to the Americans. Play again. This will have the AI generate a different design for the British. Let's see what they come up with now. This time around, we have the Brits in a 3-1 formation, same like myself. They have brought smaller guns. And seemingly another Dreadnought hull. This is not how you do it. They have one hull secondary, one double 3-inch gun. It's going to be an interesting quest to find that one gun. Oh, here it is. Just be after the secondary tower. We have the Virginia, the Truxtun, the Maine, and the North Carolina. Judging by their positioning, I am caught at a slight disadvantage. We're going to detach all the ships, and we're going to all turn them in. And we're going to open up, which is, at this point, the most risky part of the journey, because we're opening broadside to the enemy. And the Virginia has already taken her first hits. Fortunately, these are only 14-inch guns, so it means that the enemy is going to have a bit more difficulty penning me. There's really no prediction that I can make when it comes to the AI and what sort of guns or what sort of ships they're going to bring. Sometimes you want them to bring big ships, like now. I would like this to be a bit more of a fair fight, but now they don't. The other time, for example in Taskmaster, when I have one ship against several ships, they bring the biggest ship that they can, as outlined in yesterday's video. There is really no way to predict what they're going to have. I thought that the AI sort of tries to match your ships, but it seems like they don't. It seems like they just, I don't know, they do whatever. Now I've switched fire to high explosive to see if I can burn down these Dreadnoughts. Because they are pretty heavily bow in. And that's fine. We are pushing ahead at best speed at 25 knots, because that's how fast these American ships are. They're not particularly quick. They'll get there in the end. But just don't expect them to start rushing down an enemy ship. They will, however, point their bows in towards the enemy and immediately start shooting. Much like most Americans, dare I say. No, it's not that bad. Only triggered half the American audience at this point. Which is excellent, because more comments mean more interaction, and interaction is something that YouTube really appreciates. So everybody wins. This one is not really getting hit. Range 13. Who's the lead ship here? The Virginia. The Virginia does have good accuracy, but her spread is pretty bad. Yeah, we're slowly but steadily melting this ship down. Salvo after salvo slams into the, as of yet, unidentified British ship. And it starts to turn. And that's when you load the armor piercing. Because the moment that you start turning broadside, I start loading the guns with some serious ammo. There we go. Damage to the main tower. Considering there's no flooding yet, I'm thinking they might have more bulkheads to defend the ships with. Whether that's going to save them remains to be seen. There we go. Flooding. At this rate, the Americans are going to win 2-0. Which I'm sure, again, the American audience would like, but the Brits are going to be up in arms. Right through the bow. Bow belt extended. Oh, I'm sorry, these are only light 20-inch shells. Ah, the Victorious. Well, that remains to be seen. Another 37,000-ton warship. Not very victorious, are you? A few bulkheads for... Come on, we're going to do better than that. Here, new attempt. I'm not going to count that second round that I just did, because I think it's a bit, well, it's a bit unfair to the Brits, in the sense that they have fairly old ships. These ones are definitely larger. ABC format, with an XY turret on the stern. Very high amount of deck space, but 16-inch guns, but 15 of them per ship. And they have a lot of them. But now they have one fewer. Because the third turret just got blown up. That was a 20-inch hit directly to the main gun, penetrating the turret and wiping it out. So that's at least one turret less to worry about. The Truxton, however, is also taking some damage. But so far, seemingly quite alright. Alright, we're going to set a loose formation. We're going to go flank speed. And we're going to try and see if we can get in close with the enemy. We have the Bainbridge, the Mississippi, the North Carolina, and the Truxton. Everybody's focusing fire on the lead British warship. And missing completely. Just look at that dispersion. Another bow down. Oh, bow! Interesting. The Truxton is getting hit on the bows. Sorry, on the deck. Of course he's getting hit on the bow, but the shells are arcing too much and causing damage directly to the deck of the ship. As opposed to here, where we have penetrated, surprisingly actually, the mid-belt of the ship. Right there. Now what I want to try and do is have the Truxton turn starboard and have the rest of the div slowly turn to port and see if we can sandwich the British warships. These 20-inch guns really do not take any prisoners, do they? They give no quarter. 16% chance to hit, or 16% accuracy. I think it's pretty clear which way this is gonna go. Unless the British suddenly start popping turrets on my ship, causing flash fires and such, it's not gonna go their way. Massive flooding, fire, damage to the main tower, which is going to set their damage control parties back. Because the British ships are maneuvering so much, it's also somewhat difficult to get their turrets all to bear. Yeah, we got the 3 going that way, and the single one going that way. The Truxton seems to be taking most of the fire. But she's not really too intimidated. Chance to pen is 25%. Ooh. But she can definitely start hurting. Chance to pen them is unidentified. I don't know yet. I just know that I can definitely pen their armor. Then again, 20-inch guns. What do you expect? Oh, the Malaya immediately burns down. Extensive fires. She didn't seem to have an ammo detonation or anything. She just got hit very hard. Bow belt extended, bow stern, or a stern deck extended. Yeah. Now, are these things survivable? Not very. 53,000. We also got the British Commonwealth. Ironic. Oh! What happened to the Commonwealth? And the Montagu... What? This was inside of 12 minutes. Yeah. Okay. One more then. Otherwise the video is going to be so short. Let's go again. Once more onto the breach. And this time the Brits have brought 12 15-inch guns. In, once again, a Nelson-esque design. No stuff on the stern. You have all this deck space, and why do you keep insisting on putting 15-inch guns on them? The ships that are going to be doing battle for us are the Truxton, the North Carolina, the Long Beach, and the Rhode Island. Since it is best out of 3, the US has in essence already won. But, well, let's just see if they can make it 3 for 3. Starting range is 15,000. We're very close to 12. Can these little... well, not little. Can these 15-inch guns do damage against my ship? Not much. Especially not against the turrets. Oh, that hurt. That was 564 damage and 357 damage. And the ship is a burning mess with 2 damaged engines. The superstructure appears to be destroyed. We have a damaged rudder. The ship is burning and there's water flooding into it. Flooding into her, rather. Full ahead flank. Destroy another main gun. All that I'm doing is just driving my battleships into theirs, but these 20-inch guns just devastate everything. Anything and everything that gets in the way of these Americans gets demolished. 2 more fires. With the damage control party out of commission due to the main tower being destroyed, I don't think there's much that they can do about those fires, at least not quickly. Well, the fires on the deck seem to be under control. There's more flooding. There's another fire. Another one. I've done 2.4 thousand damage versus 277 from the British. Keep in mind that these are all AI generated ships. Theirs and mine. The only difference that I made was making sure that I have a bit more armor and that I have a few more, or actually no, not even more armor, I have more bulkheads. I removed some bulkhead, or some range and added bulkheads. And I removed, or slightly moved, a 20-inch gun to ensure that it had a slightly better position. To not have tons of bow ballast, if you will. I think we're going to make it 3 for 3 pretty quick. Yeah, there goes the Centurion. Extensive fire, 52,800 tons, but minimum bulkheads. Why, dummies? The minimum bulkheads. The Ajax gets hit by a few salvos, immediately reducing her to 72% structural. She starts taking so much damage that she thinks it's a good idea to start backing off. She does do that behind the cover of the sinking Centurion, which is going to absorb some fire. That's not a bad idea. Look at that. That's what 2 British battleships look like after the Americans are through with them. Although they're not quite through with the Ajax, but give it a salvo and they will be. Truxton has taken some damage. Chance to ping? 28%. And there goes the Ajax. The whole ship's burning. Their main superstructure has survived, interestingly. This is going to be over very, very quickly. And the last one's the Royal Oak. That ought to do it. Not even the superstructure that, or the structural integrity that got reduced, but buoyancy. She just flooded. Ships, I've really not taken that much damage. I have dished out about 10 times, actually I have at this point done 10 times more damage than I've taken. Royal Oak's entire bow is on fire. She's flooding quickly, and minimum bulkheads will not save her. Look at that. 3 damaged engines, a damaged rudder. I think only these sections are still not burning, but the rest of it is. And a ship that does burn... Actually, let's test that. A ship that burns takes a lot of damage. Her structural integrity will fall. If she doesn't outright flood before that happens. Yeah, she's gonna flood. Structural got reduced to 0.5. Done. So, 3 for 3 for the Americans, and that means their independence has once again been guaranteed. I hope you guys enjoyed these battles. It's a nice break from the traditions, or sorry, from the scenarios. And, well, to all the Americans, have a nice Independence Day tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.